Right. Hey, these are just my tips for this week. Um, just going over it. The teams have been selected for this tonight's game, and it looks like St Kilda doesn't have Max King. Their firepower is going to be very, very low. Western Bulldogs have been in the media all week, and it's 50-50. I'd probably say 60-40 on how they're going to respond. They're going to come out swinging, and I don't think St Kilda can handle it. So I think Western Bulldogs will win this game comfortably. If not, it'll be a slog. But St Kilda, just without Max King, they've got no one to aim for up forward. So Western Bulldogs will win this game. Even though that it looks like an upset, but Western Bulldogs to win that game. Adelaide Crows versus Essendon. The teams aren't in yet, but I would happily go Adelaide Crows. Essendon, yeah, they played pretty well last week to beat the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs were fucking around like they weren't getting paid to do what they do. So Essendon, they're Essendon are unpredictable with what they're going to do, whereas Adelaide Crows, if they get going, they are impossible to stop from scoring. Last year they were the highest scoring team. So if that happens again, which I think they figured out how to do last week, I don't think Essendon can stop that. So if it goes to a 100-point game and both teams are like, oh, we're going to score 100 points, Adelaide will win that war any day. They can just score more. So I think Adelaide, so Western Bulldogs, Adelaide. Here's the tough one, Collingwood versus Port Adelaide. It's very hard for me to tip against Collingwood. But if I was a betting man, I'd probably say Port Adelaide. But Collingwood have a number on Port Adelaide at the moment. They know how to play them, and it's also at the MCG, which gives Collingwood a huge advantage. Port Adelaide have been to the MCG very little in the past 5 years. Very little. And they don't seem to show up. Even though they've found a new system, last week they were really challenged at home by Fremantle. Fremantle really took them to the sword, and that was at Adelaide Oval. So on their home turf, they won by like 2-3 points. I mean, that shouldn't be happening on your ear. Like if they're really the real deal, you're allowed to have a week off, but I don't know. You're getting paid big money. You shouldn't be having week off. So I don't know about Port Adelaide. I think Collingwood should win this game. Pendlebury, he's pretty much the voice. He's still under a cloud whether or not he's going to play. Whereas Port Adelaide are full strength. Collingwood, without Pendlebury, nah. If I come and tell you that Pendlebury's not playing, I think Port will win. But if Pendlebury is playing, Collingwood will win. I know it sounds like a lot, one player, but he's an adult amongst kids, and he teaches them, he shows them what to do on ground. He knows how to. He's a coach on the ground at the same time as he is a player, and that can be the difference between kicking a goal and stopping a goal. So yeah, I think Collingwood there. Carlton versus Giants. I think Giants will win this. Carlton have got too many injuries. They're really starting to catch up with them now. I think they've got like 12 players on the injury list, 6 of which are in their best 22. So, and Giants, not really any problems. I think they'll win this game. It's at Marvel Stadium. Giants, they last year they travelled really well, but this year, who knows? They've been travelling all right so far. They went to Adelaide and did pretty good against a Suns side, which we thought were meh, but they are doing quite well. So they beat the Suns. I don't know how much that means, but yeah, I think Giants will win this game. Carlton, just there's not enough midfield running, no running power. The teams are going to announce, but there's not enough run, and the Giants are such a running team. It's hard to stop it. when it happens. They'll probably score like 40 points and get ahead, and it'll be like, oh, how do we win? And they won't have any answers for that. Lions versus Cats. The Lions have found some form. They are roaring at the moment. It's at the Gabba. Geelong do play well at the Gabba. I must say that they've always shown up at the Gabba. But even though I feel like Geelong has Jeremy Cameron and I think Dangerfield comes back. Dangerfield coming back doesn't really mean anything. It means that he's he's coming back to do his job. He's a great player, but he's not damaging enough to stop this Brisbane Lions team. Like, he can attack, but is he going to stop Lockie Neal getting off the chain and doing what he does? And Charlie Cameron got free to play. He escaped tribunal with a fine. So he kicks a goal, all of a sudden he kicks more. He doesn't need. He just needs a sniff, and all of a sudden he's off the chain. So I think Brisbane Lions will win this game, pretty comfortably. West Coast Eagles versus Fremantle. This is the derby, the big one. Now, I think Fremantle are very underrated right now. West Coast Eagles, great win last week. I knew. I had a sneaking suspicion that they would upset for Richmond, and they did it in style with their new recruit in Harley Reid. But I think Fremantle are just a bit too strong. The number one tackler in the competition plays for Fremantle. So their tackling pressure and the fact that Harley Reid's going to be playing, he'll tackle him and he'll probably go to him and he'll shut him down. And Elliot Yeo also coming into a bit of form. He got a bit fat last year, and that was a big concern. It's like, he's too fat to play as good as he used to, but he's starting to play really good for the Eagles. Doesn't really matter. Fremantle have really good setup. Jackson, he's good in the ruck. Apparently they're running with 2 ruckmen, which is okay. Collingwood do it. Worked for them last year, Fremantle should win this one. Sydney Swans versus Gold Coast. This is going to be a very fucking weird game. Gold Coast Suns have to win this game if they want to prove themselves. Sydney, on the other hand, they're starting to get a couple of... The injuries are starting to come back through the team. But that's not actually a good thing, because now players are getting taken out of the team. And it's like, well, where do we sit, am I a part of the team or not, like, is my spot safe? Do I have to play better? And some of these players can't play better, they were already doing so well, and now they're being just replaced like that because, this guy's got 10 years on you, man, like, it's an unfair world, it's what they live through, don't know why this down the bottom, fuck off. So Sydney, I don't know, at home, they're a safe bet, but I don't know, the Gold Coast, they've got one of the best teams in the league at the moment. Really underrated team, really underrated. They just need to keep their fucking head in the game, and they'll push Sydney all the way. And so I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to say Gold Coast. I know they're 335, but I don't know. It's a big one. And lastly, North Melbourne versus Hawthorn. This is the battle of the bottom of the barrel. And North Melbourne, they've been gallant, but they're not doing as well as people expect. Like, being beaten by 70 points is not exactly what you want. And they're cheering every goal, like, I don't know. Whereas Hawthorn, they got their own problems. Their injury list is probably worse than, who did I say? Carlton. Yeah, but they're finding a lot of younger players. They are the youngest team in the competition on average per week. But having said that, their talent is right up there. Like, I wouldn't say as good as the Suns. The Suns have some talent. But the Hawks, they got some really talented, like, tacklers and on-ballers, and and Rovers, not a lot of run, but enough run to get yourself going. So that means their scoring capability is a little bit, we can't really score that heavily, because we don't have enough run to open up the field to make it easier to score. But having said that, they know how to tackle and they know how to win the ball, and they do win the ball more than other teams that they've played this year. And against North Melbourne, they showed against Port Adelaide that they have no fucking idea how to win the ball. So it's like it starts in the middle, and Hawthorn have got that. So Hawthorn will win here, I think, comfortably. I think as long as they can kick goals, they'll win. If they kick fucking behinds, then North Melbourne will be in with the chance, and they'll get a sniff. And yeah, but Hawthorn should win this game as long as they kick enough. They'll be right. So anyway, we'll just recap: Bulldogs, Adelaide, Collingwood, Giants, Brisbane Lions, Fremantle, Gold Coast Suns, and Hawthorn. And obviously Richmond and Melbourne have the bye. Anyway, so they're my tips for this week. I'm actually opening this video up for anyone to view. So if you want to have a look and if you want to have a bet, go for it. You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to, there's much better professionals out there. But I do love this sport, and yeah, so thanks for watching. Big good dear mother, and I'll see you next week. Bye.